The following program was produced by CTV Community Television. We are back, and we're back with a friend by the name of Ted Bott. Nice
Hello,
to
Paul.
see you. Welcome back to Focus Set.
Hey, thanks.
You do very important work, sir. You're involved with the Alzheimer's Association
Yes, I am.
of the United States, right?
Yep, in particular, the Michigan chapter,
Okay.
which happens to be right here, like at Telegraph and 9 Mile. So it's not all that far away.
Yep. And as you and I were speaking, you spoke at St. Clair Rotary, and you speak to the St. Clair Police Department, and you speak to lots of organizations and groups that give out important information. So what have you got new for us today?
Well, today I thought what we'd do is follow up. I was in here a few months ago. We just talked about Alzheimer's in general, like some of the warning signs and that. And today I want to talk to you about some of the things that we found that really are health related, that you can really help yourself with Alzheimer's. So just to back up a little bit, when we first talked, I don't think people realize that, it affects over 7 million people in the U.S.
Just amazing.
It is. And for men, it's 1 in 10 chance, but for women, it's only 1 in 5.
Really?
That you'll develop it after age 65.
Yep.
That's amazing to me. And 1 in 3 people, seniors, will end up dying from Alzheimer's or dementia.
1 in 3.
1 in 3.
Wow.
So it's this huge thing, but it's still a mental health thing, so people don't talk a whole lot about it.
They don't talk about a broken arm or a broken
let
leg.
me tell you the whole story, but not about, Uncle Phil.
Bob's got Alzheimer's.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the thing is, it kills more people than breast cancer and prostate cancer put together.
Wow.
So it's something out there. And I lost a very close friend in business to it. He was very young at the time. So that's what got me involved, because I was always donating to Alzheimer's. And then one day I went on the site to set up for donations and said, you can volunteer. So I looked into it and I started doing all the research to get trained, and it started to answer all these questions that we had while he was sick. And so now I've made it my mission, since I'm retired, to go and talk to people in groups and talk about the disease and
Wonderful.
All the support that caregivers can get.
That's great. That's great.
Absolutely.
So it's an umbrella term for loss of memory and other thinking abilities severe enough to interfere with your daily life. Huh?
Yeah, dementia is it's like saying you have heart disease, but there's different types of heart disease.
Right.
So dementia is a general cognitive decline. Alzheimer's happens to be like 70 or 80% of all the cases. So it's predominant. But there's others. There's Lewy body, which also affects the brain. And there's vascular dementia. And I think people can relate a little bit to vascular dementia when you think about vascular, which is blood flow.
Right.
So if someone has a stroke, it affects their brain. And vascular dementia is somewhat like that, in that it starts to affect your brain as well.
Okay.
And that's why we're going to talk about some healthy things today, because there's this connection between your brain and your heart, and the health for both. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
All right. We just went through those, Lewy body. Okay, and the next slide is?
So just to recap, the earliest signs are communication difficulties, where someone just can't remember a word. Now, you and I have talked, and I've stumbled on a word for just a second.
Right.
But when it starts to affect your daily life, where you'll never pull that word out, when you're forgetting important places and times and things to be, or repeating yourself a lot, people start to notice. And it's important that when people start to notice, that they can refer you and you can get some help, because diagnostics are really important. One of the key things that I clearly remember with my friend is that he would use different words. Like rather than watch, he would say my hand clock.
Yeah, oh, okay. Yep.
And it's like,
but he couldn't remember that other word.
Right. So, that's what I want everyone to take a look at, the warning signs of Alzheimer's, but a lot of it is the number one is the memory loss that disrupts daily life. Or not being able to do simple chores that you used to do all the time. Say you made your famous meatloaf and you got the meat out and a couple of eggs, and then it's like, what else goes into this?
Yeah.
Those kind of things. So when that awareness starts to build in yourself, or you see it in others, that's where you need to get some help.
Familiar tasks, all right.
Yeah. So that leads us to today, this healthy living for your brain and body, this connection. And some of the first things that you need to think about is, one of the things I enjoy more as I get older is a good night's sleep. And I think, when you wake up after a good night's sleep, you're ready to rock. You're ready to go. If you don't sleep, you're already a step behind. And the heart and brain are so connected that the things that you do, how sleep affects your heart and your health affects your brain as well. So we're going to talk about that because your brain uses about 25% of all your oxygen.
Really?
Yeah. So when you're breathing and working and thinking and doing, that's a huge, it needs a lot of fresh blood supply and oxygen, just like your heart. So whatever you can do to increase your vascular system sure pays off in your brain. So the science that we see is that, if you take a look at some of the things that can affect your health, like hypertension, high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, and cholesterol, those things also have a real effect on your brain as well. And all those can be easily diagnosed.
Right.
If you go to your doctor and they start checking your cholesterol, they can put you on some statin. If you have blood pressure, you can take care of that at the time. I just want people to think about why that's so important, not only for their just general health, but in particular for their brain, because you want to have these healthy living starting now, not when you're 65.
Correct.
Now, when you do it, there's never a bad time to start doing it.
Right.
But if you adopt this more healthy lifestyle early, man, you've really paved the way to, maximize
the older life.
Absolutely, absolutely. So sleep, impacts our overall health. It keeps your blood pressure especially under control and blood sugar. And some tips for sleeping, one of the things I learned was that when people go and watch TV in bed, you have to be careful because the bed should be for sleeping. And when you're watching TV, a lot of times on the screen you'll notice a lot of backgrounds and things are blue.
Yeah.
That's to keep you awake because blue, it keeps you awake, but it's also telling your brain, let's go. Right. And you're like 10:30 or 11.
Little conflict there.
Yeah, so as soon as you can cut that out, the better. That will help you.
Probably the same with an iPad if you're reading in bed.
Exactly, especially with that. But since I've said that, now that when you watch some TV at night, see how much everything's blue in there.
Yeah,
you get that.
I will.
The other thing is control the temperature. Most people sleep better when it's cooler rather than when it's warmer. Might be good on a cold night to go into a warm
pull
bed.
a blankie up though.
Yeah, but if it's 66 or 68, you got a nice warm thing, you can regulate, and it feels better for you. And you're talking about the light stimulus, the iPads, and checking your phone and things like that. So if you do those kind of things, that sleep will really help you. The other thing that I think people need to take a look at, it's interesting to me because smoking.
Oh.
Smoking used to be like the thing.
Yeah, everybody did it.
Everybody did. When I was 16,
We were watching a movie the other night on Netflix or one of those places, and it was from, 12 or 14, 20 years ago, and everybody had a cigarette in the movie.
Oh,
everybody was smoking. Now you don't see that.
No, but it's always a good time to quit.
Yeah.
And if people are smoking, that really affects go back to the oxygen.
Yeah.
It affects the ability of your lungs to convert oxygen into your bloodstream, into your brain. So it affects your oxygen content. I would, just in general, it'd be a good idea to talk to your doctor about stopping smoking.
Yeah. And it's not easy.
No,
it's not.
It isn't.
But you can do it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of support.
Exactly. The other thing is, from a mental health point of view, sometimes the stress of everyday living affects your mental health, and it's hard to take a break, especially when you're working. When I was in my career, I was up very early in the morning, drove into worked, and you do all that, and you get to this pitch where you're not used to taking a break. But if you do take a break, and especially if you couple it with something like going for just a 10-minute walk.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's a combo right there to clear your head, get away from what's going on TV.
And with spring coming, you can go take a walk. You don't have to put your boots on.
If spring ever comes, I'm the first one out there. Just hasn't. And from another way to treat yourself is to treat yourself. Do something you like to do. You could bake a cake. You could do things that are just fun to do, that's just you in the activity without anything else, or reading, those kind of things where you're just decompressing a little bit.
Okay.
So we talked about sleep, smoking, mental health, and then the big one's just physical activity. It's good for overall health, you know, a walk a day. One of the things I've noticed where I live is there's this one group, these 3 friends that walk every morning and every afternoon. And I think if you do it with friends like that, you kind of get in this, it's time to go on my walk and not slough it off.
Bob and Betty are going to miss me if I don't
Exactly.
do it. I better get up and get dressed and get going.
So if you can find someone that's got a similar schedule to you
Yeah.
and do a buddy system, that's probably
That's a good idea.
Then the things that we put in our body, this eating healthy and the things that we want to do, you want to be careful. You want to. It's not so much what you take out; it's more what you put in. Like adding more fruits, adding more vegetables, more whole grains. You know, because when you add something, you necessarily do something less. It doesn't feel like you're giving up all the stuff you want. When they say eat less red meat, that doesn't mean you can't have a steak once in a while. All we're talking about is just change the balance. Just change the balance a little bit. One of the things I want to talk about is vitamins and supplements. You know, I see and you see either on the internet or on TV, there's a lot of claims being made for vitamins and cure-all pills and things like that for memory and so forth. And our stance is, if you focus on the nutrition and balance, if there's something out there that piques your interest, like maybe I should try this vitamin or supplement, just talk to your doctor.
Good advice.
Just talk to your doctor. And if they say it's a go, it's a go. But there's so many out there, you can't sort through them.
Right. And they are professionals, and they look at that stuff and study that stuff, so they should know.
With your best interest in mind.
Yes.
Not profit from buying the pills or whatever it is. Yeah, so that's good. The other part, it's kind of different from taking a break. It's this cognitive engagement, you know, thinking and doing and things. One of the things that I really noticed when I was studying about a year or so ago to do this, it was a lot. It was a great mental workout. And you find the more you do that, you just feel sharper. And with people, especially if you're retired or you're not as involved in things, the cognitive engagement, you know, reading a stimulating book that'll teach you something that make
just not a mystery novel.
Oh, a mystery is good, but that you want that engagement.
You want to,
like you have to think through this.
Yeah.
At the end of the mystery, you're thinking through who done it. You know, but it'd be cool to read on a topic that you like. So, the other thing is, people can learn to build something. Like if you're a woodworker or you like to do things, maybe something for your garden. When you're building something, that's a great cognitive, because you're putting together the thought process, creating, and physically doing things. And then the last one, which is just a fun one, it's just social activities. You know, sometimes just a phone call is nice to do. I have a very close friend that I worked with for years, but he lives in Brighton, so it's kind of a haul. But we've gotten in the habit where we call each other every day, just for a second.
Oh, wonderful.
What's going on?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And that social engagement, just to say hello, what is it, without an agenda, it helps your mental health and well-being and thinking. And
you're concerned about somebody else, and they're concerned about you at the same time with that simple phone call.
Exactly. And it's just nice when you hang up that you're connected with someone.
Boy, I hope he doesn't call again.
Well, we always bet on golf, so he's going to call back because he always wins.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that's really cool about in the St. Clair area is if you do local events, like the car show and all the things, activities that are in the park and the music and the plaza, doing those kind of things is a great social engagement, because
you see people.
You see people, and it's very stimulating for you as well. So when you put these things together, you know, you get quality sleep, stop smoking, take a minute for your mental health, get moving. Get up, now that the snow is going to be gone, get moving, eat healthy, especially challenge yourself, keep your brain going, and stay connected. You do that, you've got as good a shot as anything, because that preps and has been shown to help on avoiding some long-term problems because it affects both your brain and your heart. So that's my story for today, as I just wanted to go through it.
Are there breakthroughs coming every day, every year, every month
Oh
for
my gosh.
Alzheimer's?
You know there are, and we should set a follow-up
Yeah.
discussion in a little while, because everything from just last May, I think it was the first ever blood test that was approved
Yeah, I heard about
for
that.
Alzheimer's. So from there, it is moving rapidly. And the Alzheimer's is one of the leading research organizations in the world. So we get updates every couple of weeks, and it's always just another little step. But
But they're moving in the right direction.
it's progress, and it's heartening, because our goal is to end dementia and Alzheimer's and all other forms of dementia. Just that's our goal. It's not to raise money. It's to end the disease, and that's why I'm here today, is for awareness, so people can deal with it, and also help us end it together.
If people want more information, how they get a hold of you?
The easiest way is I'm very simple. Tbot, T-B-O-T-T at Yahoo. Or I'm sure they can get a hold of you and
Yeah.
take my number.
Okay.
I'll be happy to come to any organization, any group, and give a 30 or 40-minute overview about Alzheimer's. And the Q&A is where it's
Yeah.
afterwards, especially for caregivers.
Right.
So I'm available 24/7 to do that.
Pretty good guy.
Hey!
Ted Bott's his name. He's
Thanks,
available for parties and weddings and everything else. So.
I'll talk about it anytime.
Alrighty. That's about it for this edition of the Focus program. Thanks very much for tuning in. Till next time, I'm Paul Dingerman. See you soon.
Thanks for watching Focus with Paul Dingerman. Focus is produced at the CTV Community Television Studios in St. Clair. For over 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter to our community.
The preceding program was produced by CTV Community Television. CTV Community Television is supported by the cities of Marine City and St. Clair, East China Township, Cotterville Township, and the East China School District.